exercise machine. A lot of people tend to even have problems with different back motions, different rowing and pull down motions, because they have a hard time just holding on to the bar as they start to fatigue. So I'm going to show a couple of very simple exercises that we can use. And when it comes to training the forearms, you can just leave it up to your imagination. There's so many fantastic exercises. We're just going to demonstrate a couple today. So Landon, I'm going to get you to grab the easy bar. Now before you pick it up, I'm going to show a couple things here. First, he's going to be using a reverse grip, or his palms facing down. This is going to put more stress on the forearm as opposed to if he had his palms up and he had a supinated grip. Also, we're using this device called a fat grip. Just loosen this hand off for a second, Landon. This is just adding to the circumference of the bar. The wider we make this bar, the harder it's going to be for him to hang on to it. Thus, the more his forearms are going to have to work during the exercise. So I'm going to get you to grab that. Now, the exercise is just going to be a standard reverse curl, but because we have this larger grip, it's going to very much stress his forearm. So I'm going to get you to a few repetitions, Landon. That's perfect. And what you're going to notice, right in the wrist, he has to work very hard just to keep them straight. Let your wrist go limp just for a second there. It would be much easier for him to pick it up like here. He can actually use a little bit more bicep. Keep them straight now, Landon. But by keeping them straight, we can put a ton of stress on the forearm. These forearms are working very hard. I'm going to get you to do just one more. And I actually want you to keep that straight on the right there, Landon. Right up, right up. Perfect. Come on down. Now, if you don't have access to something like a fat grip bar, or some people, they actually have bars that are made with a larger circumference, you can still do this exercise with a normal bar, but it won't be quite as stressful on the forearms. The next thing that we're going to show is Landon just using a simple set of open dumbbells. Landon, if I could just get you to grab these. Now with the dumbbell, he's just going to hold on to it at the very end. Now these exercises we're going to do, these are going to be for the forearm flexors and extensors. There are some very, very strong people out there that can do these exercises with sledgehammers. It's an exceptional display of strength. They have very strong, powerful forearms to show for it. So first, all he's going to do is raise this dumbbell up to his front. Good. And even with this little weight, come on down, Landon, this is only 15 pounds. It's very difficult with that fat grip to even get it all the way up. You're trying to get parallel with the ground. Good, Landon, come on down. It's okay if your elbow bends a little bit, but you want most of the motion right around the wrist. I'm going to get you to do one more, Landon. Come on up, come on up, come on up, and ease down. And you can see even with just that 15-pound bar, it's difficult for him to do that. Now we're going to do it with the reverse grip. And just come on up, Landon. Now he's going to be a little bit stronger doing it this way. He has more muscle available. Come on up. Perfect. You're going to ease down. Get that nice stretch. All the way up. Perfect. Come on down. We're just going to do one more repetition. Perfect. And ease down. Now some people, they like to do wrist curls behind their back. That's a good exercise too. They can do wrist curls on a bench. Nothing wrong with that as well. I'm just showing something a little bit different. Now the way you'd progress on that last exercise is you can just put a plate on the bar and clip it. Also, you can just put the plate a little bit further down the bar. The further it moves away from the center, the harder the exercise is going to become for the forearms. Now the last thing we're going to show, and probably my favorite exercise for the hands and wrists, is just a simple gripping exercise. Landon, I'm going to get you to sit down on the hammer gripper. Now this is another exercise where I see a lot of people cheat trying to use far too much resistance. I'm going to get you to grab the bottom handles, and you're going to bring it right up to the top. Now once he has control of this resistance, his body is not going to move. He's just going to open up his hands, and he's going to close them. I'm on a 1 second pause, and I want those movement arms to touch. Ease out. We're just going to do 3 or 4 repetitions. And again, you're seeing no movement in his body whatsoever. Everything's here. Come down to the bottom. I see a lot of people, they'll load weight on this and just leave your hands here and pull with your upper back. They just use their back and they'll rock back and forth, and they're using a ton of resistance. But the amount of resistance is not as important as the amount of tension that we put on the targeted muscle. So again, he's in real great posture here, just standing straight up and down, seated straight up and down, and all the motion is in the hands. I want you to stretch those fingers out as far as you comfortably can. We're just going to do 2 more here, Landon. Good. Easing down. 1 more repetition. Now, some gyms don't have dedicated grip machines. A lot of people, they don't take the time to do their grip training, so they don't tend to buy them. If this is an issue in your gym, I'm going to show you a very simple device that you can buy. It's very cheap. You can get them online for less than $40. You can bring it with you in a gym bag, and you can ultimately do the exact same thing. So this device, it's called an Ivanko gripper. Again, it can be purchased on almost any website. You just do a search on grip training, and Landon's going to be able to do the exact same exercises. So I'm just going to get you to hold on to that, Landon. You're going to grip like that. And now the nice thing about this, I'm just going to open it up for a second. By changing these springs to go further up and down, this is how we change the resistance. Right now we have it at a very low resistance just for demonstrating. At the very top, we can actually create about 350 pounds of resistance. Now this would be considered world-class grip strength. Most people will never get to this level. So again, you can just kind of keep it in front of you, close to the body, and you're just closing that hand. Perfect. Do a couple more repetitions. Perfect. Now some people, see how it's moving around a little bit, that's fine. If Landon just keeps his spare hand on the other side, now he's just keeping himself stable. The more stable he is, the more muscle he's going to activate. And again, you're just making complete contact. You're not leveraging with your body. All the motion is in the hand and the wrist. That's perfect, Landon. So with a couple of very simple exercises, a lot of times I like to do this with people at the end of their workout, because if you fatigue the forearms in the beginning, I find that most people, it makes them suffer with their later exercises. They just don't have the grip, and the grip is needed. Doing it at the end, it's going to produce very good results, and there's nothing more powerful than having great forearm development. Because he's going to go to failure multiple times, he's going to stimulate more muscle growth. So I'm going to help you start this out, Justin. Start at the top. Perfect. You're going to control down into a comfortable stretch. And you go a little fast in that, just nice and smooth. Come up to the top. Perfect. And I don't want you to stay at the top too long. Once you're at the top, you're coming down. Just keep the tension right on the chest. Push out. Good. Ease down. Don't stay in the bottom. Nice smooth turnaround. Good. Ease down again. His posture is staying perfect. He's driving through the chest. Rib cage is up nice and high. Push through, push through. Good. He's still looking quite strong. We're going to do a few more repetitions here. Perfect. Good. Ease down. Nice and smooth, nice and smooth. Good. Why don't you try a couple more repetitions and make it hard here, Justin. Push through, good. Ease down. Push, push. Come on, let's go, let's go. Push, excellent. If you got a few more, we're gonna have to do them. Right through, good. Normally I would have wanted this weight a little bit heavier, but he's gonna go right to failure. Good, ease down, Justin. Push through, keep going. Push, good. Come on, one more. Push it out. Good. Come on down. I got the weight right here. Let your hands go. About 10, 15 seconds. I want him to take deep breaths. You can stretch your arms out, stretch your shoulders out a little if you want to. Now, normally we would have used a little bit heavier weight. I think Justin got about 18 repetitions there. But now we're going to go right back into it. I want you to do as many as you can. Ease down. Push through. Good. Keep working. Good. Ease down. Breathing. Doesn't get faster. You still control every repetition. Strong push. Good. Breathe, 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 Justin. Good. I don't want you to hold your breath. Give me one more. We're going to try 4. Ease down. Strong push right to the top. Good. Come on down. I got this right here. Same thing. Give him another 10, 15 seconds. Deep breaths, deep breaths. We're only going to do this one more time. So again, whereas he would have normally stopped his set about a minute ago, we're going to give him a few more repetitions. Come right up. Okay, as many as you can. Control the lowering. Strong push. Good. Ease down. Strong push. Good. Breathe. Breathe. Never hold your breath. Breathe out as you push forward. Good. Give me another one. Ease down. Push. Push. And I think you got one more. It's going to be the last one, Justin. Everything you got. Go, 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 go. Excellent. Come on down. And I got it right here. Very nice. So again, this is a technique I would use with a more advanced trainee. The next 2 styles of training that I'm going to show focus around accentuating the negative or the lowering aspect of the repetition. The first I'm going to do, it's called forced negative training. So typically when you do a repetition, regardless of what it is, whether it's going to be a leg extension, like I'm going to get Justin to do, a bicep curl, a chest press, it doesn't matter. The lowering portion is a little bit easier. We have quite a bit more strength lowering weight than we do lifting weight. So what we're going to do is I am going to force more resistance onto the lowering when Justin does this leg extension. So he's going to lift the weight under his own power, nice and strong, right to the top, 1 second pause. And when he starts to lower, I'm going to be forcing more resistance into him. And you're going to come straight up. Good. Whereas normally he would be almost resting, I'm pushing quite a bit into his legs. He's working very hard. Come on up. Right up, right up, right up. Hold. Good. Again, there's no break. The muscles are working very, very hard. We don't have to do too many repetitions. Push right up, right up, right up, Justin. Good. Good. Force it down. Fight it, fight it, fight it, Justin. Fight it. Perfect. We just need one more repetition. Squeeze up, squeeze up, squeeze up, squeeze up. Great. And fight me all the way down. A lot of force in the muscle, a lot of tension. Perfect. That's fantastic. Justin, I just want you to rest. So you can see at no point in the repetition is he able to take a break. A lot of times when I see people train, even if they're doing it under control, they'll go nice and slow into the positive, but then they'll take even 2 to 3 times as long in the negative. Really, the muscle is just breaking. And what I mean by that is it's having a reprieve. It's easier for them to do the repetition. By adding this resistance, it's increasing the intensity of the lift. Now, the next thing I'm going to get Justin to do is called negative accentuated training. Basically, what that means is he is going to lift this resistance with both legs, but he's only going to lower with one. So I'm going to get you to come up, Justin. Transfer it to one leg, nice and smooth. That's perfect. Good. You're going to come on up, both legs. You're going to lower with the left. Ease down, ease down. That's perfect. On this lowering, come right up. He is experiencing far more resistance than he would typically if he lowered with both legs. Come on down. We'll do one more here, Justin. Right up, right up. Perfect. Transfer it over. Nice and smooth. Breathe. Don't hold your breath. Breathe, breathe. Come on down. Perfect. Excellent. One of the great benefits of this style of training is you don't normally need a spotter. Now, you won't be able to do this on a free weight like a bench press. Obviously, if you let go with one hand, the weight would just fall to the one side, and it wouldn't be the safest thing to do. But on a machine with a fixed movement arm, he would not need a spotter. He can work very hard. This is a great technique to bring up intensity in the gym. have enough resistance. Whether Drew was 100 pounds just starting weightlifting, or he was 300 pounds, one of the strongest men on the planet, there will always be enough resistance because he is supplying it. So I'm going to get you to lay back into the machine, Drew. I'm going to get you to bring your head back just a touch more. I'm going to get you to push both movement arms to the middle. Now at this position, these movement arms are actually locked. If he wants to push one forward, the other one's going to have to come back. If he were to push both of these at the same time, no matter how hard he tries, they are not going to move. As he starts to push up with his right hand, his left has to come down. Now don't hurt yourself just yet, Drew. We're going to make sure this is nice and easy. So as this is pushing up, it's pushing his left down. When he pushes up with his left, it's pushing his right down. The interesting thing about this is as much force as he can produce with his positive side, or the side that's pushing, he will always have enough resistance on the lowering side. Now the reason that this really never took off is because it's very, very easy to cheat. You have to be very honest with your effort. I'm going to get you to just do a couple repetitions. We're just going through the motion. You're not even doing anything. You're just going back and forth. He is basically experiencing almost no resistance here. So someone could get on this machine and say, oh, I did it. I did my set. Nothing is happening of any value to his body. Now, the way we do this, it's going to get you to come down for a second here, Drew. The way we do this is we time it. Because we don't have a load cell, we have no way to quantify the weight. We have to make sure we're working very hard, and then we then time his set. So what I get people to do, and if you were to use this Infimitric exercise yourself, I like to have people do it under load for about 60 seconds. The first 20 seconds, I encourage people to use about 50% of their force. They're working, the muscle is starting to warm up, but you're really not giving hard contractions yet. At the 20-second mark, and it's good to do this with a spotter or with a stopwatch, you're going to give it everything you got. For 40 seconds, you're going to show an outright effort. He's going to be giving everything he can. So I'm going to get you to start, Drew. I'm going to hit the stopwatch. For 20 seconds, you're just going through the motion. And the only way you can even really tell that he's pushing a little bit harder than he did a second ago is the chain is taut. Okay, just warming it up, getting his joints ready to go because he's going to be pushing very, very hard in a second. When you come up on the right, you're going to go, Drew. And you're going to push with all your might. He's pushing very, very hard here. He's trying to stop it with his left arm. That's perfect, Drew. Make sure you're breathing freely. Good. Driving straight through. Absolutely. That's great. Every single repetition on his left and right are maximum repetitions. Keep breathing, Drew. Keep breathing. Drive it up. Drive it up. I want you to make it hard as you can. You're getting deeper and deeper into those muscle fibers, into the chest. That's perfect. Push, 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 push. Drive right through. Come on, Drew. Hard as you can. Hard as you can. Come on, we're almost there. We got 10 seconds left. Keep working, Drew. Fast. Drive it up. Drive it up. Everything you got. Pushing through. Breathing. Push, 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 push. That's going to be the last repetition right there. Fantastic. Great set, Drew. Just relax for a second. The real nice thing about what he just did, every rep was a maximum repetition. He was working very, very hard. Also, at no point was he in danger. If we were to do a standard bench press with a bar, there's obviously danger that the bar could come down if we don't have a spotter if we were to fail. With what Drew just did, if for some reason he went to literally full exhaustion, the point he couldn't even lift his arms up anymore, the movement arms just fall down and he just walks away from the machine. Also, if we were to continue this set for 2 or 3 minutes, we could build up so much fatigue that it could take several weeks for him to recover from it. That's why we like to do about 40 seconds. That seems to be a real sweet spot for a lot of people. Also, when we're looking at the design of the exercise machine, it's very simple. It's very basic. If you want to do this for biceps, you could literally just get a pulley and a cable, and you could go back and forth. And as long as that pulley was mounted to something down low, you could work your biceps as hard as you want with as much strength as you have. This is a very, very important way of doing exercise. It actually never got its due in terms of the history of exercise science. There's almost no limits to the amount of strain that we can put on the muscles using it. The gentleman who came up with it, he felt that the reason it never took off and the reason why he stopped making these machines was because psychologically people want to see weights being moved. They want to see a plate moving up and down. They want to see a bar moving up and down. But as you can see, it's completely unnecessary. With a very, very simple device, we can provide full range exercise. We can stretch the muscle, we can load the muscle, and it's very safe. There's no danger of him being trapped. I'm going to show another exercise machine that's a little bit more conventional that hopefully someone could then mimic this Infimitric exercise. The next thing we're going to show is a slight variation on Infimitric exercise. Infimitric by definition means there was no external weight plates. There was no selectorized weight plates to just pin the weight onto. All the resistance was being supplied by Drew. With akinetic exercise, the same principles are being applied. One side of his body is working against the other. The difference is going to be we are actually going to put weight on the weight stack. Now, instead of moving this weight up and down, it's going to be locked in the mid-range position. Now, we're going to put about 180 pounds on this. And if Drew is producing 400 pounds, this would not move. If he's producing 181 pounds, this will not move. So again, you have to be very honest with your effort. The nice thing about this is if he starts producing less than that, then you will see this weight stack drop down. So you can kind of have a better number for showing progress. If you could do, say, 60 seconds with 180 pounds, you might look to do 60 seconds with 185 pounds the next time you do this. This is also something that a lot of exercise machines actually have built into them. So what you do is you pin the weight stack at the desired weight, and then you have a secondary pin. On this machine, we actually have a hole drilled into the stack rod, which makes it really easy. So when he comes into the mid-range position, it's going to lock. I'm going to get you to put the belt on real quick here, Drew. Okay, and we're going to bring this down. Independent arms, yep. And he's going to come down to the middle until it locks. At this position, if you were to pull both down at the exact same time, this can't move. This pin is preventing this weight stack from moving. So just like on the bench press, he's going to have to go back and forth. So one arm is going to come up, the other arm is pulling down. And he doesn't have to make it as hard because he can produce more than 180 pounds of force. But if he did want to use all his might, you're going to go now, Drew. Really pull down. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Now he's producing quite a bit more force. The weight stack is not moving, exactly the same as the Infimitric bench press. But if he were to produce a little bit less than 180, just loosen off just a little bit here, Drew, now the weight stack moves. So this is really nice because we can quantify his progress. I'm going to get you to come up here, Drew, all the way to the top. Yep, that's all I need to show. This is something that I would normally use for an advanced athlete, an advanced technique. I wouldn't get a beginner to do this. You can create a large amount of fatigue very quickly, but done effectively, done safely. This may be one of the most result-producing methods of training you ever use. Thank you for watching today's episode. I'm hoping that some of the techniques we've shown you make their way into your workout routine. They're fantastic techniques. They can increase intensity in the gym, and they're going to increase your results. If you need to get a hold of us, please feel free to follow us. We're at www.facebook.com/STG Strength and Power.